So it's good to have the bars marked so that you know
There's a boatload of bees.
which way they go back in.
You want to look at your
Not the way they left it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm surprised. How do they know that they should build it on a bar and not across a bar?
Well, some bees do and some bees don't. We also put wax on the edge of the bars to help encourage them to build along the top of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of activity there. I see some nectar. I don't see anything capped on this side.
No, it's just nectar for now.
Lots
It's
of
a little
bees.
early to have there be honey, full honey bars. It's gonna be a lot of nectar for the next couple weeks.
So here's on the third bar, there's some cross combing. So they're actually starting to
Bridge.
build onto the other one, so it's attached to the other bar.
How do you split it then?
Yeah, we'll make decisions on what is the best course of action. We can either cut it along the top and recenter it. We can potentially just remove that piece, which I did on one of the other ones.
That one's connected to the. So, is this number one? 1, 2, 3,
This is
4,
one,
5,
yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
9, 8, and 7 are kind of
Bridge.
a little bit just near that side.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna need another jar full of sugar water?
No, I mean they've been drinking it, but
I think it's probably good to stop at this point. Stop feeding.
yeah, because Laura was saying, you know,
You gotta
it's good
wean
for them to
them.
go out and get the real stuff.
Yeah.
So you leave the jar in there, but just stop filling it.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna start like this one. You see, I just let it rip off. We're
Yeah.
probably gonna end up removing that piece.
Oh, just like removing it all together.
I think so.
Okay.
Good brood pattern though. Good brood on this one. You see all this? That's
Oh,
all
wow.
brood. That's all capped brood.
Yeah. So there's some capped brood, which means that's where the queen laid eggs, and the bees actually capped it so that it could start growing.
It went through the larva stage and now it's capped. All right. So I'm gonna flip this one over. You see how you can see on the edge there where it's starting to go.
Yeah.
So we'll correct that.
Okay. So there's a little piece on this bar. Is that bar 9? 11, 10, 9.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's starting to go a little bit crooked. And on this side I see nectar and pollen.
That's a good amount of pollen.
And I think I see some eggs over here by the ripped part.
Yep. Couple in there. Yeah, we're gonna end up losing some eggs by doing some of these repairs, but that's okay. It's better to have them be straightened out and working more organized.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so some rubber bands on these.
So we're just putting some rubber bands on there so it doesn't we don't knock it and it falls down.
Big gust of wind or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're looking, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but you can see here if you're looking at it from that edge, how it started to veer to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna cut that top part and recenter it, and then we're gonna kind of shove that part over too.
Okay.
And then I cut usually, scooch out of the way, ladies. Excuse me. Excuse me.
So that's the guiding feather.
Mm-hmm. So this is sort
Feather
of just
guider.
nudging them out of the way. Come on, scooch over, please.
So they don't get mad.
Yeah, this is sort of just annoying them into moving, more or less. Okay, thanks. So I like cutting it, you can see just beneath there.
Okay. So you're leaving a little bit of the comb on the top.
Mm-hmm. And I'll eventually scrape that off, but that helps you just literally just shove it over. Because then you're not worried about that top bit of it.
And they'll fix it.
They'll reattach that, yep. So then I'll cut this piece off. Oops, sorry guys. Right, so then they no longer have that piece The top part that's starting to veer off, they don't have that as a guide anymore. What they have as a guide is this. And then it's good to look at it from the side and make sure that it's been recentered. So that top part's been recentered, right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to move this base part. And that's going to be a little bit trickier.
How often do you have to do this, Laura?
It depends. Some hives don't cross comb at all. Some, I always say they have a bad architect, cross comb all the time. It just really depends on the hive. It is more prevalent with top bar hives for them to cross comb, but as you can see, it's not really that hard to adjust it.
Like
One of the
something's
benefits
falling
of
down
this
the
kind of
trees.
hive is that they can build it all themselves. And when you look at hives that are built in nature, feral hives, if you ever just Google feral hives, they all have like a slight curve to them. They always just sort of undulate very naturally. It's just a matter of us having to inspect it. You want to make sure that they're not doing that as much.
I mean, would you have to do this type of thing like every couple of weeks or once a month?
No, so hopefully once we correct this hive, we won't have to do it again. That's the goal. Once it's corrected, then they'll just continue going straight. They tend not to like re-veer it off course.
Well, I mean, we'll inspect it every couple weeks, but we
shouldn't have to do these kind of repairs every couple weeks.
And there's,
But on new combs, you might.
there's nectar.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So what generally like what we might do is rearrange the hive slightly so that there is a straight bar at the end, and then they'll continue off of that straight bar is the hope.
So the filled ones are what?
This is pollen, actually bee bread. So they bring pollen back and they mix it with enzymes in their mouth, and it actually is fermented. It's delicious. You should grab a little piece of that.
I'll trust you on that.
Just tastes like pollen, but like fermented slightly, so almost like bread.
So then there's no honey?
There's nectar right now, so all the shiny bits, that's nectar. And once the nectar is reduced, the moisture level's reduced enough, they'll cap it, and then that's honey.
You want to try some?
No.
Bee bread's one of my, like, it's the #1 beekeeper thing, I think. Like, it's my favorite thing to eat at a hive.
Other way. Okay, we got one fixed.